Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Duane Toews talks with Sharon Thielen, Director of Education of the Kansas Corn STEM Program. She explains the past year's growth of the program and the resources they offered to school educators around the state. Then K-State's Romulo, Lollato, and Kelsey Andersen introduce a new seasonal Kansas wheat series that will air right here over the next several weeks. They discuss wheat varieties grown in different regions around the state, learn the varieties that performed the best, and get their recommendations for the upcoming growing season. Next up is today's Kansas Farm Bureau update, and to wrap up, it's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay tuned.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Up first, Duane is with Sharon Thielen from Kansas Corn. She talks about the success of the Kansas Corn STEM program and what resources are available to educators around the state.
Duane Toews joining us once again on the program. A chance to catch up with Sharon Thielen, Education Director, I believe, with Kansas Corn, and certainly a lot of seed to stem and a number of different programs that Kansas Corn has been involved with K through 12 education in the state of Kansas. Sharon, I know you had another banner year last year. Tell us a little about some of the successes.
Yeah, so we had a great year. If you think about our successes, it had to be from September to March. And so we supported 1,200 teachers in the state of Kansas, either providing free training, free resources, or some kind of supplies. So we feel really good with that. And that equated to about 49,000 students in the state of Kansas, learned about corn, ethanol, GMOs in some capacity during the school year prior to the COVID-19 happening. So we really had a great year.
Talk a little about your retention. Once you get a teacher involved in the program, it appears that very few of them fall out and they're hungry for more.
That is very true, Duane. We, on our form, find out how they learned about Kansas Corn, and a lot of the referrals of new teachers are from some of our previous teachers, those that are extremely loyal to our program. But also, we have a really good group of teachers out there that are always willing to help us in creating new lessons and creating new trainings. And so they're loyal not only in helping kids learn about our industry in the classroom, but also giving back with some of the knowledge that they have that will help us continue to be successful.
Talking about that success you referenced, you've got teachers that are working putting these programs together, and they understand what curriculum requirements are in those public schools.
Yes, and I think that's really why we've had such huge success because we pride ourselves in being a very teacher-run program. So all of our lessons are taught by teachers in the state of Kansas. All of our teachers are the ones that wrote our curriculum. So they're tying it back to what needs to be taught in the classroom already in Kansas, but then how can you incorporate agriculture within that? And so really relying on those teachers to be our experts, I think, has helped with that success.
Oh, you kind of referenced everything had to be gotten before March. Obviously, kind of spring break went on this past year, and we're a little bit concerned about what the fall may look like. You didn't get to do some of the in-person things that you would like to have done with teachers over the summer. You improvised. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, so we have a big group of teachers that are very supportive, and we're ready to go in helping us in converting a lot of our lessons for at-home use. So as soon as schools shut down right around spring break, we had a group of teachers that were ready to go. We created one lesson every day for 50 days in the spring. So we incorporated 50 new lessons that are for at-home or in classroom use, but really they're tied to helping students learn about agriculture, but using products that are already in their home. And so that has helped us really set the stage for success as we move into this remote learning this coming fall, where teachers that are trying to teach not only kids in the classroom, but also those that are choosing remote learning, we already have this huge library of lessons that they can already incorporate into their curriculum, but also the ones that they've always used in the classroom using our free kits and some of the ones that they've learned through our trainings. We're also incorporating ways to transition those for those remote learners as well. So we're set up for success and have lots of resources for teachers so that they can use them this fall.
Obviously, you've got those online as well. If folks are interested in seeing what you've got going with the education program at Kansas Corn, where's the easiest way to get that?
Yeah, if you just go to kansascornstem.com, that's all spelled out. It's all there, but go to the lesson library and you're going to find 70 plus lessons ready to go for the fall.
Our thanks to Sharon Thielen joining us on the program, talking about Seed to STEM and all the educational programs available through Kansas Corn. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. After the break, we introduce a new seasonal series brought to you by Kansas Wheat.
These days, no one can afford to take the risk of being without financial protection against high health care costs, not even for a few days. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans offer short-term health care coverage to fill in those temporary gaps. Short-term health plans can provide you with medical coverage when you are between health plans, helping lower your potential financial risk. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Now let's join K-State's Romulo, Lollato, and Kelsey Andersen as they introduce a new wheat series update that will be airing over the next several weeks.
Hi, I am Romulo, Lollato Extension Wheat and Forage Specialist with Kansas State University, Department of Agronomy, and I am here with Kelsey Andersen, who is the new Extension Wheat and Forage Pathologist for Kansas State University. Kelsey, welcome aboard, and why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your past?
Great, yeah, thanks to be here. Like Romulo mentioned, I'm Kelsey Andersen in Onofre. I'm the Extension Wheat and Forage Specialist here with Kansas State, working specifically on pathology, so I'm pretty excited to be aboard. I started just in May, so it's been good to see the conditions here. I came directly from University of Florida, where I got my PhD, and before that I worked in private industry. And I have experience working in wheat, specifically on my master's with Fusarium head blight, where we looked at some of the effects of rainfall on fungicide applications.
That's excellent, and Fusarium head blight is also a very important disease in Kansas, particularly in central and eastern Kansas, right? So what did you learn doing your master's working there in Ohio with soft wheat and control of head blight that perhaps can be applied here in Kansas as well?
Yeah, we found a few things. So one was that fungicides can be applied in conditions that are more rainy. They're pretty rain fast, so that was a key finding. And also that they have a residual life that lasts a couple of weeks, the specific fungicides that we were looking at. So I think that's important about getting that timing right. We also looked at the effect of different rainfall patterns just before flowering and how they'll affect that toxin development and disease development over time. So I'm hoping hoping we can look at similar questions here and see how we can translate some of that information to help the growers of Kansas.
So fungicide timing and fungicide product, especially important for Fusarium head blight. What other important diseases do you think are going to be a problem and that you'd like to look further into here in Kansas?
Yeah, so I think one of the main problems that we saw, at least across the board this year and in years past, is stripe rust, definitely some leaf rust, and then I think Fusarium head blight and wheat streak mosaic too are going to be problems in different parts of the state. So those are some of the top diseases that I think I'll be focused on here at Kansas State, but of course there are others too.
Excellent. We are very excited that you are on board. We look forward to you bringing all your expertise and your knowledge here to share with us and with our growers as well. And welcome aboard.
Great. Thanks for having me.
When we come back, Romulo and Kelsey talk about specific wheat varieties and how they performed around the state.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
We're back with Romulo, Lollato, and Kelsey Andersen as they discuss which wheat varieties performed the best in each region of the state.
So we're going to talk right now about some of the varieties that performed well or have a good agronomic fit for central Kansas. So Romulo, what do we look for in these types of varieties?
Yeah, it's important to remember that a grower who is selecting a variety for central Kansas is going to have a very different mindset for that grower in western Kansas and looking for different agronomic and disease attributes on those varieties. For central Kansas, growers are usually looking for acid soil tolerance. That can be a pretty big concern there. They're also looking for, in south central Kansas, a medium to medium early maturity, whereas as we go to north central Kansas, it's not as important anymore because a longer growing season that we have there. Usually straw strength is something that growers throughout the state are looking for, but especially in central Kansas because of greater amount of precipitation that we have out there, right? And so those are the main agronomic things that growers are looking for in varieties in central Kansas. But of course, disease attributes are also quite important in this part of the state.
Yeah, absolutely. So diseases, like Romulo mentioned, really important in central Kansas. And one of the top that we think about is soil-borne mosaic virus. So it's important to find a variety that has resistance to soil-borne mosaic. It's also important to think about some of the foliar diseases because we do get more moisture in this part of the state. So the rusts, leaf rust and stripe rust, it's important to look at those resistance packages. And also tan spot, septoria, Staganospora, blotch. Those foliar diseases can really be yield biters. It's also important to think about Fusarium head blight tolerance, particularly in fields that are weed after corn. So those are just the key disease traits that we really want to look for in varieties. If varieties don't have those foliar fungal diseases, it might be a region where we would consider applying a fungicide to really get the most out of a variety, yield-wise. So what are the varieties that performed well this year and maybe are very popular in this region?
Yeah, so whenever we talk about performance of these different varieties, it's important to remember, Kelsey, that just looking at one year can be a little bit misleading, sure, right? Because this year was completely different from last year, which was completely different from the year before. So we always suggest that growers should look for the variety trial results from regions around them, not only one, not only the closest, but really the regions surrounding them, and look at 2 or 3 years in a row to see which varieties are performing quite well. Right, so if we look at this for the last few years here in south central Kansas, for example, a few of the varieties that have been performing quite well are Bob Dole. Recently here we also have Rockstar performing quite well. Westbred has 2 varieties, 4269 and 4699, that have been performing quite well as well in that south central part of the state. SY Monument and Zenda are other options that growers have in south central Kansas that are yielding quite well and have good agronomics as well. Moving to north central Kansas, we have a few other varieties, perhaps with longer maturity, also yielding well. For example, LCS Chrome, LCS Valiant, an older one, WB Grainfield, that yielded quite well as well. A few, perhaps the WB 4595 to take a look at, although I think it's more of a western variety. SY Rugged did quite well this year as well, although again, probably more of a western variety. So those are some of the considerations when selecting a wheat variety. And remember, this performance, they change year with year, so make sure that you check the variety performance test results from K-State for those results closest to you.
Stay tuned. When we come back, this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update is next.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
No one plans to get sick or injured. But when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
I'm Rick Schlender. I represent District 4 in the state of Kansas. I think the vote FBF, we have had a good percentage of wins, let's put it that way. I know 2018 I was in the process and over 90%, which was excellent. And I think my expectations here again for 2020 is still that or down above. So I believe that with what we receive from our counties, I like the philosophy that we have all 10 of our district represented here, because sometimes we're too close to the fire, sometimes that 5,000-foot view that somebody else in another district sees and you maybe say, well, what, didn't that county say that? That really helps us in our process to pick that best candidate to endorse.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now we join Kyle and Duane for a little Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the guy that always tells me about the stiff as a board frog. Wood frogs freeze solid in the winter and they thaw back out and come to life in the spring. Don't a lot of frogs do that?
No.
They don't?
Not most of them try and get below the frost line.
Really? They dig that deep?
Yeah, they dig down quite a ways. They try and stay below the frost line. They get cold, but they don't like to freeze solid.
Right.
But, you know, somebody had to get the idea for cryogenics somewhere.
So they did it with frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, the deal, if you want to do that deal and have them bring you back to life, you gotta kiss one of them wood frogs. And, you know, many people aren't ready to do that yet.
Okay, so you and I had an experience last night with skinning a turtle.
Right.
Well, the reason
we were harvesting a turtle.
Yeah.
It wasn't we were necessarily
No,
skinning.
we were harvesting him for meat.
Right.
And one of the processes in that was skinning it. Well, and then so I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything right. So I called Wildlife and Parks, and I had a fishing license and you know, the
turtle
bag
was taken
limit
legally.
Right, and the bag limits are 3. Well, I had 1, and all those sorts of things. But then we got over on frogs. And bless her heart, the young lady that was visiting with me, and she was very patient, but I was asking the most bizarre questions because I had been told that somebody recently was arrested for the toads, the sand toads, having too many sand toads.
Right.
And I thought I should believe that person. Well, she could not find anything on sand toads, and pretty much it's pretty specific to bullfrogs, but she actually had quite a list of different frogs there that it was not legal to possess.
Oh, really? Like
and now not toads.
Right, like the little grass frogs or leopard frogs?
Well, I asked about grass frogs.
Yeah.
She said probably there is a more scientific name than grass frog.
Yeah.
But she couldn't find anything on that. And so grass frogs, it appeared that you could maintain those if you want to.
Okay.
By the way, the limit on bullfrogs, let's hope I get this right, 8 a day.
All right.
Maximum 24 in your possession.
Uh-huh.
And so that means, okay, you and I could go today, we could get 16.
Right.
But after 3 days, the maximum we could have would be
24.
24 times 2.
Yeah.
Well, you have 24.
Yeah,
I
I'd have 24. You'd have 24.
Right.
And we'd have to eat some.
Right.
And then
Right.
we could go again.
And then we could go again. Now, if we had young Americans, those under the age of 16, they did not have to. We have to have a fishing license.
Right.
And they do not have to have a fishing license, but they have the same possession limits as you and I. So let's say you have two young Americans with you.
Okay.
So they can have 8 each.
Right.
And we can have 8 each. So now we're up to 32. We go 3 days.
We
got a pretty good mess of toads, frogs.
We're heading up to a big frog leg fry.
Right. So, and I checked on the turtle, and certainly when I said snapping turtle, she knew exactly what that was.
Right.
It appears there isn't a great deal of fondness for snapping turtles in the world of wildlife management. If you own the pond,
yes.
Boy, do not take this to a court of law.
But what you heard from
what
someone
I
at
heard,
Life and Parks.
she will remain nameless because I didn't write her name down. You can, if you own the pond, you can harvest them about any way that you like, and you're not limited on your quantity because they're known as a nuisance.
Okay.
The main thing they are worried about you is relocating them. If you take them out of that pond, they do not want you hauling them off somewhere else without a permit. And I suspect you're going to have a hard time getting a permit.
Well, your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. Chicago, originally named after a variety of garlic. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. It was after a variety of onions.
No, it was garlic.
Oh,
Native
shoot.
American word for Chicagowa. I say that all the best Native American language I can do.
Which means having bad breath.
Type of garlic plant.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. Join Ag AM in Kansas, everyone, Monday through Friday mornings on local stations throughout the state of Kansas, and every day on your favorite social media. Monday kicks off with Dr. Dan Thompson on Doc Talk, as he's joined by leading veterinarians and nutritionists in food animal production. They discuss current production challenges and tips on how to deal and prepare for those challenges. Tuesdays on Farm Factor, it is our friends here at KFRM Radio with interviews from top experts in agriculture. Wednesday, it is a little of Kansas history with Deb Goodrich on Around Kansas. Thursday, Britton Rucker brings us Ag Etc. This day is filled with agricultural research and ag happenings around the Midwest, including our new Young Leaders in Ag segment. We end the week with Authentic Ag and updates from your local checkoff programs. Make sure to check your local listings or like us on Facebook and Twitter at Ag AM in Kansas and on YouTube at Farming Unlimited TV so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching.